Welcome to Thoroughbred 360, insights, stories and strategy from the commercial world of thoroughbred racing with your host, Bruce Slade. Welcome everybody to episode 26. Of course, the biggest news through the week with the largest commercial impact on our thoroughbred industry was the budget as laid out by the Labor government of Australia. Of course, changes to taxation, lots of commentary around those changes, but I thought, like all changes, before we start to get too concerned, it's important to sort of get our heads around what those changes are and how they may affect you. I thought The Straight did a great piece with Adam Timms of Stable Financial. Adam there highlighting some key changes, positive and negative, that may impact your thoroughbred business. Number one was very interesting with regards to the minimum 30% tax on discretionary trusts, which is not applicable to primary producers. So this may in fact be you in the thoroughbred industry, which would be a help. There's also the return of the loss carryback, which hadn't been around since COVID times. This is where if you do have a tax loss, you can carry it back up to 2 years and offset that against profits or tax you may have paid in those previous 2 years, and in return you receive a tax refund in cash. Finally, the big one that everyone is talking about is the change to capital gains tax, the dropping of the 50% discount on assets that have been held for 12 months or more, and the minimum tax of 30% on those assets. So what Adam said here was most important was, before the 1st of July 2027, when this comes in, it is a really important time to assess your structures and of course value your assets and have a think about how they may be structured better in future. Now, of course, these changes are not law yet. Of course, there's plenty of small details to work through. So now is the time, like with all these sort of changes, to get ahead of the game, talk to your financial advisors. Of course, there's some really good thoroughbred specific financial advisors out there, the likes of Stable Financial, Jason Abrahams and Critique. They do a great job. And of course, Paul Caruzzo, who's very knowledgeable on the subject. But yeah, as I say, not something I spend a lot of time in, but no doubt hugely important for any business associated with thoroughbreds to get on the front foot with. On to race results from the weekend with the biggest commercial impact. The Doomben 10,000. It was great to be out there in Brisbane on Saturday. Rothfire, of course, winning the 8-year-old at his 43rd start. Great story. Brad Rawilla in the stable. I think it was his first Group 1 ride for some 6 years or something. Of course, not a huge commercial impact, but gee, racing's a great game and it was terrific to be out there. The crowd was stunned, but absolutely buzzing too, to see the old boy get up, Rothfire. Out of that race, though, two important stallion prospects. I thought, of course, Napoleonic ran third. Great run from him. I believe now gets turned out and gets set for the spring. So another year of racing for that colt by Wootton Bassett. Beautiful horse, good-looking horse in the yard, of course, carrying those Munns set of silks, and a horse to look forward to going forward. No doubt the connections there. Feel like he's a colt full of quality and on the improve. And Beadman, he was just nosed out for fourth, ran a big race there in 5th place. Very unlucky up the inside there with Tim Clark, just didn't quite get clear air when he needed to. And he's a horse that heads towards the Stradbroke and might be hard to beat in that race. Providing he can make the field, of course, he'll be weighted very well in that race, coming back from weight for age there on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the Rough Habit Plate won by a son of Super Seth, Kilman, for Mr. Waller in those famous Neville Morgan silks. That is stakes winner number 10 for Super Seth. Great timing for that young horse, has of course come from New Zealand to be stationed at Coolmore Stud for the first time in 2026. 10 stakes winners from 137 runners, running at just over 7% stakes winners to runners, so doing a great job, Super Seth. This is his strength. If you look through the data on his best performers, he's of course won a Queensland Derby already with Mason Louis, gets a lot of stakes winners from that 1400 metres to 2000 metres. Very versatile stallion, but no doubt at their very best at those middle distance ranges, and a really terrific stallion to have in the Australian ranks for 2026. Another mention on Super Seth, 3 of his 10 stakes winners now out of O'Reilly mares. Now, no doubt covered a lot of O'Reilly mares, given he was based at Waikato Stud, but just keep that in mind. He is out of a Reduced Choice mare, and of course, O'Reilly, that sort of blood. Some nice female duplications when bred back to Reduced Choice is O'Reilly. So keep an eye out for that cross moving forward. And if you can bring some O'Reilly through your mare, Super Seth might be a nice option for you. Over to the action at Scone on Saturday, of course, they're one standalone Saturday for the year, and it's just a race card packed with quality. We'll start with Miss Free Love and the Denise's Joy. Big result for TASSORT there as 4th stakes winner. Filly, bred by Red Bank North, races in the Trilogy colours for Peter Snowden. She deserved that. She won the Sunlight Consolation, of course, a rich race at the Gold Coast in January, and she's been brought back for the winter and got a deserved black type win here. TASSORT, his 4 stakes winners to date, all at a time when he stood in a range from $5,000 to $10,000. So doing a great job, this young stallion. Lots of winners, over 50 winners this season from only 114 runners, which as a strike rate's very, very strong when you compare it to other stallions this season. Getting lots of winners. Nice to jag another stakes winner for him. With the stallion, of course, he is being seen as his 4 stakes winners have been fillies now. There is a thought that, he may have that sex bias, but we've done some deep dive on here. And if you do actually go back through all of his highest earning progeny, those progeny that have won 50 grand or more, been metropolitan quality, there's 22 of those horses and 10 of those are colts and geldings. So I think that's very interesting. I think if you have add a bit more scale to TASSORT's quality, quickly learn that he is 50-50, and that would give me confidence that in time, TASSORT is a horse that'll balance out in terms of the stake success across the males and the females. Another big result on the card came in the fillies Woodland Stakes, a listed race over 1,100 metres at Scone, a race that always throws up nice quality form that will carry through in years to come. Lazura, I think, won this race a couple of years ago and went on to win Group 1 race. A big field, lots of fillies engaged here, and as I say, I think there'll be a lot of quality to come from this race. It was won by, of course, Queen Regent, a 2nd stakes winner for Wild Ruler, that first crop horse standing at Newgate. He's had 6 winners now from 22 runners and 2 stakes winners, which is now equal with Stay Inside and Home Affairs at the top of proceedings with stakes winners to runners. Of course, his other stakes winner was one of the very best colts of the generation in Stretton Ruler. So Wild Ruler doing a really good job, this horse. Has been a little bit under the radar, but if you have a look at his sale results this year, he hasn't really been on the radar at all. You can see the good trainers have been picking up. They obviously like what they've seen in their stables, and they've been buying them. And we see now this result for Blake Ryan. I'm sure, just given the scope of his stock, remember he's a taller son of Snitzel. He's 16 one-handed. He puts plenty of leg and athleticism into his stock. You just imagine that with time, his progeny will just get better and better. So keep an eye on this young horse, doing a great job at a lovely price point this year. And Queen Regent, well, great story behind this filly, of course. Bred by Jeff Wilson, whose trusted advisor is John Hutchinson of Scone Bloodstock Services. They sold this filly through the Glen Bay draft at the HTBA sale. She was purchased by Blake Ryan, who breezed her up. Passed her in at the breeze up sales, did Blake, after all that education. Knew she had a bit of quality, but passed her in. And Jeff, and through John, actually went back on the back of her breeze and said, listen, we'll support you. Return serve the support, Blake, and took 70% and put Jeff's colours on, which of course were the old Rick Worthington colours. So special silks with a lot of history behind them. Jeff and John, again, this enlightened self-interest, this where kindness propagates and is returned in multiples. I spoke about this last week with regards to the Flamboyant last story. Well, we've got it back here again. They've gone in there, supported Blake after he supported them, and now they've got a stakes-winning 2-year-old filly that looks like she's got it all ahead of her. A really dominant win there on Saturday. Congratulations to all involved. Other big 2-year-old results from the weekend, of course, Captivant had his first stakes winner. Venturix for Jenny Graham. Again, great story, beautiful looking horse, big black horse. This by Captivant, who himself is a very good looking son of of Capitalist as well. Stands at Vinery now, of course, this young sire, first crop. So congratulations to all the team there. His first stakes winner. This colt bred by Mullaglass stud out of Miss Lauren, who's doing a terrific job, this young mare. Well, not young anymore. I think she's 14 years of age, but she herself, a daughter of Striker, stakes place 2-year-old, now produced not only Ventorix, who won the Spirit of Boom Classic, but also a Raging Force, who was one of the very best 3-year-olds of his generation, a son of Cosmic Force. So congratulations to Richard and Kim there at Mullaglass for breeding such a nice horse, and of course, nice to see Jenny Graham in the winner's circle with the talented 2-year-old. There was also 2-year-old stakes racing in New Zealand over the weekend. Nice to see Incandescent in the Maya Racehorse colours. Of course, Maya Racehorse started to really push into New Zealand, and now they've got a 2-year-old stakes win on the back of Willie Dewitt, the New Zealand Derby winner. Incandescent, trained by Roger James, Rob Wellwood, a son of Per Incanto, terrific proven stallion, standing there at Little Avondale Stud. And also in New Zealand, River Plate, a new stakes winner for Flying Artie. He won the Rangatiki Gold Cup. Stakes winner 13 for Flying Artie. This young stallion doing a magnificent job, just getting so many nice horses around him, Flying Artie. And he is incredible value at 12,500 plus GST at Blue Gum this year in Victoria. If you're looking to breed a racehorse, if you're looking to breed a bit of scope and athleticism and quality into a neater, short-coupled mare, he's a great horse to go to. Really leaves a racehorse, and I think he's terrific value there in Victoria this season. A couple of international results that you should definitely be informed of. The Preakness was won by Napoleon Solo over the weekend. He is now a dual Group 1 winner. He won a Group 1 Champagne as a 2-year-old, now a Group 1 winner of the Preakness Stakes. A leg of the Triple Crown makes him a really valuable stallion prospect, of course. He is by Lem's Map, who's a son of Unbridled Song, that real grey colouring coming through in Napoleon Solo. And he is out of a stakes-winning Scat Daddy mare, a young stakes-winning Scat Daddy mare. We talk about these high-class race fillies being your highest probability mares in the population to produce high-class races themselves. This Napoleon Solo was a great example of this, as was Notable Speech, winner of the Lockinge Group 1 in Europe, in the UK, over the weekend as well. This guy, by Dubawi, stallion, out of a stakes-placed young Invincible Spirit mare. So both horses out of young stakes-performed mares, 2 big Group 1 winners over the weekend. As I mentioned, Napoleon Solo in the Preakness and Notable Speech for Godolphin in the Lockinge Stakes. Of course, towards the end of this week, we kick off the big Magic Millions breeding stock sales. We've got the weaning sales, inspection start there on Wednesday, followed by the broodmare sales next Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the yearling sales the following Monday and Tuesday. So a couple of big weeks of bloodstock up here on the Gold Coast. I start inspecting on Wednesday. I feel add some value doing a piece last week on social media through how to value foals. So if you do have some interest, have a look there. I'll leave you with this advice before the weaning sales start, is buy the racehorse first. Not only will you then have conviction when you go to sell it as a yearling or a breeze-up horse, but if all things do go pear-shaped, at least you'll have a racehorse at the end of the day to give yourself an out, to give yourself a chance to win back some of that value. Thanks for listening, and have a great week, everyone. Look forward to seeing many of you on the Gold Coast in the coming days and weeks.